All right. Hey, this time my microphone's working. I do apologize. I have no idea. Every now and then, I do the same thing every night, the same microphone. I plug it in the same spot. 90% of the time it works. And every now and then, like that 10th time or whatever it is, you plug it in. I look down, I'm talking. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, my microphone ain't working. So if anybody's watching me at all, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. So before I get started, anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, there's a top link. It takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. Okay, so if anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the world to me. Thank you. And if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, people, right? As I said, if you are subscribed, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. It means the world to me. And also, whoa, wow, we got some more thunder. We've had thunder. It's awfully weird. Like in South Jersey, it was 2 nights ago we had thunder and lightning, and we got thunder again here. It's weird. End of March to actually have thunder. It's not something you usually hear here in South Jersey at the end of March. Very, very weird. But also in the description box below, okay, there's 2 additional links, 2 Facebook links, okay? They take you to one. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. Okay, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Basically, pretty much my my Facebook group, my YouTube channel, my Facebook page. It's called pretty much the same thing. Okay, YouTube. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. That way, even a moron like me, okay, can remember it. All right, I got to try to make things simple for me. Right now we have over 2,700 members in the group. Okay. And, I try to put stuff in there every day. Now, whether it's a post, a picture, a video, something making fun of the Cowboys, something making fun of the Eagles, whatever it is, I try to put something in there every day. And the thing is also, not in the group, not only do I put stuff in there, okay, but, other people put stuff in it. Members put stuff in there as well too. Okay, so please feel free, fire away. If you become a member, put stuff in there. All right. And there's a ton of New York Giants stuff going in there every day. Then the second link, okay, in the description box takes you to New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a page. Okay, I'm the administrator. I'm the only one to post anything in there. Right now, we have 868 people who like it. We have over 3,600 people following it. All right, and it's the same thing. I put stuff in here. It's 7 days a week. I put stuff in here. Okay, it says whether it's a video, something making fun of the Eagles, the Cowboys, with anything, something showing some stats or anything in there. It's 7 days a week. I'm putting stuff in there all the time. So if you go to the page, okay, and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and become a member, between the 2 of them, you get a boatload of New York Giants information every day. All right, and I don't like commingle them. So basically, like, whatever I put in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever posts and all that stuff I put in the group, I don't put in the page. So, between the 2, there's a ton of New York Giants information going out every day. And I always say all the time, if you're not satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, well, all that stuff said and done, all that stuff out of the way with, the 5 best draft classes in the history of the New York Football Giants. Now, a lot of it, is obviously it's gotten more and more developed as we go along. Now, I did a video a couple of nights ago about the 5 worst ones. Okay, so I mean, as time has gone by, it's become more and more developed, more and more advanced. The scouting department, you got scouts at like every game. You can watch every game. There's nobody who basically gets undetected wasn't like that 40, 50, 60, 70, back like 1936, the first year of the draft. It wasn't like that. I mean, yeah. Right? I mean, scouting department, I don't know, might have consisted of like one or two guys. They might have gone to a game a week or something. I mean, that ain't like that no more. It's as time goes by, obviously it's becoming more of a business, and it's all it's going to do. It's going to keep getting more and more of a business as it goes by. So, I mean, the scouting is going to get more and more developed, more and more advanced as time goes by. So, obviously a lot of the bad draft classes were back in the day. A lot of the better draft classes are happening nowadays. Now, also a lot of the reason why some of the draft classes were bad, okay, was that, things weren't advanced and all. And sometimes the draft was kind of like a crapshoot. So basically a lot of what the Giants did, like in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, they would just trade away their draft picks. Not all of them, of course, but they would trade away a lot of first rounders or second rounders, whatever, to get known commodities, right? So if you didn't know how to draft back then, the first round, it's just the first round, all right, we'll trade away. We'll get this guy. We know what he can do, right? But so some teams were really, really good at drafting, right? And they could take your first rounder and turn it into a Hall of Famer. Point in hand, the Giants traded away a first round pick to get Craig Morton, a quarterback from the Cowboys. Right, we traded in 1974. Craig Morton, I think, missed the first. He came about halfway through the season in 1974. The Giants were just going nowhere. They were in the middle of a 2-12 season. They stunk. Offense was absolutely unwatchable. You think it's bad nowadays? It was unwatchable back then. We traded away a first-round pick. I'm not sure if there was anything else included, but we traded away a first-round pick, and I think it was in 1970. Okay, quarterback. Well, the Cowboys, who could draft, right, turned that into Randy White, who wound up being a Hall of Fame defensive tackle for the Cowboys. It wound up being the second pick because the Giants were so freaking bad. It wound up being the second pick in the 1975 draft we gave away. And the Cowboys could draft, so they drafted a Hall of Famer, and the Giants got stuck with Craig Morton, who was only there for another 2 seasons, and then he went to Denver. So we basically gave away a first-round selection to somebody who was only there for like 2.5 seasons. Okay, so, we traded away a lot of stuff. So, I mean, it's gotten a lot more advanced as time has gone by. If you look, back in the day, there was like, at some rounds, there was like 32 rounds, like 1947, there was 32 rounds. There was some years there was 30 rounds. And as I said, it was not that advanced. So, I mean, you're drafting 32 guys, you might be lucky if like 10 of them or so maybe actually had any type of a playing career. One of the things the Giants had, is that sometimes they actually drafted Hall of Famers, but they actually want to become Hall of Famers with other teams for other reasons. Point in hand. 1947, we drafted we drafted 2 Hall of Famers in 1947. Both of them became basically Hall of Famers for careers that they had with other teams. We drafted a guy named Art Donovan in 1947, the 22nd round. Okay. He was in World War II. We drafted him after 1947. I believe he went back to college, okay, after we drafted him. And then he came out of college, and then he started playing football, okay, but it wasn't with the Giants. And he was a very good defensive tackle and became best known for, he was a Hall of Famer, but playing for the Baltimore Colts, okay. He was number 70. But he was selected in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he became a Hall of Famer. The Giants initially drafted him, didn't play for the Giants at all. Another guy we drafted in 1947 was Tom Landry, okay, who was a decent player, and he wound up becoming the defensive coordinator for the Giants. But the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame is because in 1960, he started coaching the Dallas Cowboys when they were expansion team. He coached the Cowboys from 1960 to 1988, so for 29 seasons. He coached the Cowboys. He took them to 5 Super Bowls. They won 2. They lost 3. but that's the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame. All right, he played for the Giants, but the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame was because he was such a good coach. Okay, the following season, the Giants drafted their first overall pick. I'm sorry, it was 1946. Was George Connor. Okay, wound up being a Hall of Fame tackle with the Chicago Bears. The Giants drafted him in 1946. Apparently, he went back to school. He came out of school. He went back to Notre Dame. He came out of school, and somehow the Bears wound up getting him. And he was such a good player. He wound up going to the Hall of Fame, but he never played for the Giants. Drafted him, but he never played for the Giants. Then you got 1957. Okay, the Giants drafted somebody by the name of Don Maynard, who was a Hall of Fame wide receiver, but he wound up becoming a Hall of Fame wide receiver with the New York Jets. Giants drafted him in 57. He played one season with the Giants in 1958. 1959, he went to the Canadian Football League. And in 1960, he went to the American Football League, newly formed American Football League. And he played with the Titans / the Jets, because the Jets' first 3 seasons, I think they were called the 3 or 4 seasons, they were called the Titans. Then they switched the name over to the Jets. Right, so he played with the Jets till 1972, 1973. He finished his season one. He had 1 year with the St. Louis Cardinals. But the Giants drafted a Hall of Famer, okay, in 1957. But he only played 1 season for the Giants. Now the Giants certainly, he was a very good wide receiver. The Giants certainly, without question, could have used his services. Then also there was 1963. The Giants drafted Buck Buchanan, who was a defensive huge. He was like 6'7", 6'8", something like that. He was huge defensive tackle. Giants drafted him, but he wound up playing. He drafted him in 63, but he wound up playing with the Chiefs, and he won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs after the '69 season. But he's in the Hall of Fame now, but because he played with the Chiefs, he never wound up playing with the Giants. So the Giants, back in the day, actually drafted Hall of Famers that never actually played for the Giants. I said, and it was like hit or miss, a lot. I said the drafting has become a long, long way, okay, since the early days. Now, then there was the years where the Giants actually drafted their second round picks. There's like 5 or so that I can remember. Actually, 6 years that I can remember that the second round picks were actually better than the first round picks. First point him, we got 1992. The Giants, oh my God, drafted Derek Brown, the tight end from Notre Dame. He played until 1999, but he had a grand total. He was a tight end. He had a grand total of 43 receptions in his career from 1992 to 1999. I think he only had, was it 11 receptions with the Giants? He played 3 seasons with the Giants. He had 11. He had 11 receptions with the Giants. Giants drafted him number 1 in the first round overall. Number 1 for the first round pick. He had 11 receptions with the Giants in 3 seasons. But they drafted it. That was their first round pick. In the second round pick, they wound up drafting Felipe Sparks, who wound up having a very nice career. He played till 2000, and actually had 27 interceptions. He had 22 interceptions with the Giants. He had 5 interceptions in his final season of his career with the Cowboys. Okay. But so the second round pick wound up being better than the first round pick. Then also in 1993, our second round pick was none other than Michael Strahan. Our first round pick was we had a supplemental draft that we gave away. We got Dave Brown, a quarterback from Duke. We got him in 1992, but we gave up in the supplemental draft, we gave up our first round pick in 1993 to get him. So Dave Brown had a lengthy career. He was not a starting quarterback though. If you draft somebody he started for us, but he was not really a starting quarterback. So 1993 in the second round, we drafted Michael Strahan. So once again, the second round pick wound up being better than the first round pick. Then you got 96 and 97. Okay, 96. Amani Toomer was our second round pick. Our first round pick was Cedric Jones, who wound up being pretty much a bust. He had a problem with his eyesight. He was a defensive end, so he could only basically line up on the right side. I mean, my God. He played 5 seasons for the Giants. The 2000 Super Bowl was his last game ever in the NFL. That was it. Amani Toomer is the Giants' leading receiver. Giants history. So the second round pick was better than the first round pick. 1997. The second round pick was a little bit better than the first round pick. The first round pick was Ike Hilliard, who had a nice long career. Very good, solid career. Very good, solid wide receiver. However, the second round pick was Tiki Barber. I'm going to give the nod to Tiki Barber there. Okay, not by much, but then, of course, we have the 15 and the 16 debacle. Okay, you got Eric Flowers taken in the first round of the 15 draft. Of course, Lanny Collins wound up being better because we drafted him in the second round. He wound up being better than Eric Flowers. And, of course, in 2016, Eli Apple was taken in the first round. Sterling Shepard wound up being a better player than Eli Apple. So, but I mean, as I said, things have come a long, long way. Now, of course, my list here obviously is subjective. This is my list. I didn't look it up anywhere. I didn't take it from there's no Pro Football Bible Digest or something and this is mine. It's totally subjective. You know, after you hear my list, you can say this guy's smoking crack or something or whatever. But this is my list. Okay, the fifth best draft class in the history of the New York Giants overall. Okay, let me get to it here. Is the 2005 draft class. All right. Now with the 2005 draft class, which it's good, right? But it's bad because it's very weak. Because I mean, not weak. We only had 4 picks. Okay. We traded away the first round pick to the San Diego Chargers. Remember, because in 2004 we drafted Phillip Rivers, but in order to get Eli Manning, we had to give them our first round pick of 2004, which was Phillip Rivers. We had to give him our first round pick in 2005. Okay. So we didn't have a first round pick in 2005. So, I mean, this class, if we hit it out of the park with this one, if we had a first round pick and we hit it out of the park, this class for 2005, I might even bring up a little bit more, but I got number 5. Okay. It's number 5 overall. We had 4 guys, all of them were drafted, all had careers, right? Rather lengthy careers. All of them played for the Giants. Eric Moore only played, I think, 1 season. He's the defensive end. He only played 1 season for the Giants, right? He was our 6th round pick. But our 2nd round pick, in the draft, 2005, was Corey Webster. Played with the Giants in 2013. Had a very, very, very good career. We were very, very, between him and Aaron Ross, we had some very, very good corner play, between the two. I mean, Corey, I don't know if he ever made like an all-pro or anything like that, but he was just a good, solid overall, without question, a good, solid pick. Okay. Our 3rd round pick was Justin Tuck. Okay. I mean, he's no introduction there. Justin Tuck, the only player in Super Bowl history with multiple sacks and multiple Super Bowls, right? Justin Tuck. And then, as I said, we only had 4 picks. 3 of them, basically, we hit it out of the park with 3 of them. 3 out of the 4. Okay. The other one was Brandon Jacobs in the 4th round. Got him from Southern Illinois. I mean, the guy played it. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think. I know he left the Giants. He played from 2005 to 2013. When did he leave the Giants here? He was with the Giants. After 2011. We won the Super Bowl. Then he went to the 49ers in 2012. He came back and basically retired with the Giants in 2013. So he had a nice long career. Big, freaking huge. Good luck trying to tackle the guy. The guy's a giant through and through. All right. Hit it out of the park. We only had 4 picks. We hit it out of the park with 3 of them. Okay. And as I said, all 4 of them had careers. And I said, even though the guy who only played, Eric Moore, even the guy who only played, it was 6th rounder, who only played 1 season with the Giants, played from 2005 to 2011. Okay, so they all had nice careers. I mean, Corey Webster played in 121 games, Justin Tuck 147 games, and Brandon Jacob plays in 109 games. So nice, long, good, solid careers for these guys. Both of them got 2 Super Bowl rings, right? Well deserved. Very, very, very good, solid draft. Would have been even better if we had a 1st round pick, but we got Eli Manning, and without Eli Manning, we weren't winning either one of those Super Bowls. Eli carried us to the Super Bowl, in 2011. He was the man, right? So, all right. Then we got my fourth overall, draft pick, but in the history of the New York Football Giants is a 1989. Okay. Yes, some of these were kind of like, it was kind of tough. I had to change things around and all, but the 1989 draft, that happened to be the only time ever in the history of the Giants that they drafted a center in the first round. Now, the center they drafted was Brian Williams. He had a long career with the Giants, okay? Didn't start playing, wasn't the starting center until like 1994 because we had Bart Oates. From 1990, when we drafted Brian Williams in 99, from 99 to 93, Bart Oates was our center. So it took Brian Williams a while to become the starting center, but Brian Williams had a long career. He played from 1989 to 1999. Nice long career. Then we had, in the third round, we didn't have a second round pick. We got Bob Cratch, who was a guard. Okay, he had a long career, 1989 and 1996. He played in 105 career games. The third round pick, we had Greg Jackson. Okay, defensive back. He played in 168 games. Okay, was his whole career with this? He played from 1989 to 2000. Okay, let's see. No. He only played from the Giants from 89 to 93, but he had a career, of like 12 seasons. 12, nice long career. All right. Then we had, in the fourth round, we had Lewis Tillman, who didn't play his entire career with the Giants. I know he played with the, Chicago Bears. Okay, he played with the Giants from 89 to 93. Okay, he got himself a Super Bowl ring in 1990, but he finished his final 2 seasons with the Chicago Bears, but he was a very good running back. Okay, so he had a nice long career. All right, then we got, in the fifth round, we got Dave Meggett, right? Very, very huge. I mean, to pick him, in the fifth round, he played from 89 to 1990. He played 146 total games. Just a huge addition. Whether it was catching a pass on the third down, whether it was returning a punt. What a phenomenal pick was for getting David Meggett. The sixth round, we had Howard Cross from Alabama. Long career, right? He played from 90. He played 207 games from 1989 to 2001. Okay, just phenomenal. Great. Solid, very, very, very solid pick. Okay, it wasn't like he wasn't like a Hall of Famer. He wasn't a but he played his entire career with the Giants. 171 starts, 207 games he played for the Giants. He only had 201 receptions in his career, but a very, very good, solid tight end, as I said, especially where you wind up drafting a guy. Draft a guy in the sixth round that plays over 200 career games for you. Phenomenal. Then in the eighth round, we got Myron Guyton. Okay, he was a defensive back who had a nice career from 1989 to 1995. Okay, he only played with the Giants from 89 to 93. Basically, it was the same thing as like Tillman. His last 2 seasons, 94 and 95, Myron Guyton played with the New England Patriots. Okay, but once again, had a nice career. It was a good pick. And to draft somebody in the eighth round that actually played 7 years in the NFL is pretty darn special. Okay. Let's see. Does it say interception? He had 10 interceptions. But I said, once again, he started in the 1990s. So basically he was a safety in the 1990, the Super Bowl team. Okay. So very, very instrumental, right? All of these guys played in the 1990, right? So nobody unbelievably, amazingly fantastic in the group here, but just a lot of good, solid pick. Guyton, Cross, Meggett, Tillman, Jackson, Cratch, and Williams. Very, very, very good, solid picks. Okay. A couple other guys didn't. It was a 12-round draft, right? But we had, as I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 really good, solid picks there. So I got to give. Just on the strength of how many guys we picked, was 7 of them. I gotta put the 1989 draft in there at number 4. Okay, the number 3 overall draft class. Okay, we're gonna go back here. Now this one was a tough. base 89, 86, and then my number 2 pick they're all kind of tough. It's kind of tough to kind of, you know, put them in order a little bit. I kind of, a little. I was thinking, I was kind of changing my mind a little bit and all that. Right? But the 3rd overall, okay, was the 1986 draft class. Okay, a lot of guys. They wound up. I think was it 12 picks, 6, 8, no, 10. Let me count this again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14 picks. Out of the 14 picks, 12 of them actually had NFL careers. Okay. A couple of them were very, very short. Okay. But I mean, to get 12 out of 14, that's pretty good. They actually wind up playing in the NFL and having careers in the NFL. That's pretty good. Okay. But what makes this so special is once again, they got 7, okay, out of the top, seven of them made the team pretty much. 7 of them were contributors to the Giants, especially in the 1986, okay, team. The thing is, I always scratch my head on this one here, the 1986 draft. The last game the Giants played in the 1985 season, okay, was they played in the playoffs against the Chicago Bears, okay. The Bears beat them 21-0. Last game the Giants played, 21-0. Note, nothing. The Giants had a first-round pick in 86. They had 4 second-round picks. Okay. So when you score, and when you go, I mean, what you do is you look at, okay, the Bears, they won the Super Bowl in 85. We lost to the Bears in the playoffs 21-0. Right? So you want to be like, okay, well, what do we got to do to get up to where the Bears? Remember Shorely Data tried to punt the ball out of his own end zone. He went off the side of his foot. The Bears picked the ball up and ran in for a touchdown. So basically, our defense gave up 2 touchdowns on the road in Chicago. Basically, our defense gave up 2 touchdowns, 14 points. We scored nothing. So what do you try to do? Wouldn't it make a little sense? I mean, just me. I mean, don't you need some offense? I mean, if you're trying to compete with the Bears and you couldn't score a point against them, don't you think you might want to get some offense? Nope. Bill Parcells' first 6 picks in the 86 draft was all defense. We have no offense. Let's get some more defense out there. So, but then again, he's in the Hall of Fame. He won 2 Super Bowls. It is what it is. But I always kind of scratched my head with that one. But they were all guys were contributors in the 1986 team. Okay. Now, first round, none of these guys were like super duper spectacular or anything, but very, very solid. I mean, Eric Dorsey, okay, was our first round selection. Our 4 second round picks, Mark Collins, very good cornerback, really, really good cornerback. He had a nice long career. Eric Dorsey played from 86 to 92. Mark Collins, was our first second round pick, played from 86 to 98. We drafted Eric Howard in the second round. He played from 86 to 96. Now, if Eric Howard wasn't there, we may not have ever won our second Super Bowl, because in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers, Eric Howard dove with about like a minute and a half or so to go, 2 minutes ago, whatever it was, hit Roger Craig. His helmet hit the football. Roger Craig fumbled the ball. Lawrence Taylor picks it up. The Giants get it, march down the field, and kick the game-winning field goal. So without Eric Howard, we may not have ever won our second Super Bowl. Always remember that. All right. Then we drafted in the second round. We got Pepper Johnson, right? Long career, 86 to 98. Then we drafted Greg Lasker, okay, who played a little bit for the Giants. Let me see here. I know he contributed in the 86 season. He played in all 16 games. Might have been just special teams, but I mean, he played in 86 and 87 for the Giants. Okay, nothing super huge. Then we drafted John Washington. Okay, he was a defensive. They got end, but he was more kind of like a defensive tackle too. He had a nice career. He was from 1986 to 1993. So like basically the top 6 draft picks all on defense. Very nice, good contributors. Okay. But then we also drafted in the 6th round. We drafted a guy named Solomon Miller, who played a little bit for us in 86 because there was a period of time where like all of our wide receivers were just banged up. And so we had to have Solomon Miller go in there. I remember he played in the Seattle game, and he caught some passes in the Seattle game. He wasn't a starter or anything like that, but he helped contribute in the 1986 season as well too. But I mean, it's like the top, the top 6 picks, very, very good, solid, all solid contributors. A lot of them were also around, for 2 Super Bowls, right? 2 Super Bowl trophies, right? Very, very good, solid picks, okay, for the Giants, the 1986 draft, all right? Then we had, and as I said, then the other one, the number 2 overall, all right, I got is the 1984, okay? Now, we don't have maybe quite as many, guys maybe as some of as like the 89 or 86, but these guys had a little more firepower, a little more star power to them. The 1984 draft was, of course, the last time we ever took a linebacker in the first round was, of course, Carl Banks. To me, guy's a borderline Hall of Famer. If they put him in the Hall of Fame, I wouldn't argue at all. All right. We had 2 first-round picks in 84. We took William Roberts, okay, who had a long career, all right, 1984 to 1997. I said we drafted Carl Banks, 1984 to 1995. 1984, we also drafted Jeff Hostetler, who's played a long career, 84 to 97. Okay, Jeff Hostetler. And just, I'm straight up saying is that if Hostetler was not there in 1990, I don't think Phil Simms could have won us the Super Bowl. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know if he could. We needed Hostetler to be able to run around. We needed a mobile quarterback, and Phil Simms was a statue. He was not very mobile. I really think that because of Jeff Hostetler, I think he's one of the hugest, biggest reasons why we wound up winning the Super Bowl in the 1990 season. So getting Jeff Hostetler in the 3rd round, okay, as a quarterback was huge, okay. Then in the 4th round, we got Gary Reasons, right? Another huge pick. He played from 84 to 1992, all right. Then we got Lionel Manuel, who's a wide receiver. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings from 1984 to 1990. There's a couple other guys that drafted that wound up playing too. David Jordan from 84 to 1997. Conrad Goody from 84 to 1987, but it's not so much. It was the amount of guys, but it was the Banks and Roberts and Hostetler, okay, and Reasons. I mean, those guys came up big. It was, remember the fake punt with Gary Reasons in the 1990 championship game, right? Got us the first down, got us to our 4th field goal, right? So, I mean, these guys were huge. Carl Banks was the best player on the field. When they gave it to the MVP to Phil Simms, but Carl Banks was the best player on the field in our first Super Bowl win, without question. He was freaking everywhere. He had double-digit tackles. He knew he knew almost half the plays the Broncos were running. He did a phenomenal job. Carl Banks, outstanding, borderline Hall of Famer. So the 1984 class to me is the 2nd best overall. Okay. Then of course, then to me, the just because the overall how solid the class was, you got to go the 2007 class. Okay. Because basically all these guys really helped contribute. Okay. Well, there's Adam Coates, but he was a 6th-round pick. Okay. Let me see here. 2007 to 2010, he was all with the Giants, but he only played in a grand total. He started 4 games in 2010. So, I mean, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings with the Giants. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He only has 1. He played till 2010. What am I talking about? So he only started 4 games in his career, okay, with the Giants, and they were all in 2010. But he's got himself a Super Bowl ring, okay? Actually, he only played 11 career games, okay? So, all right, he would be like the one, Adam Coates. It would be like the one exception to the Giants. But I mean, other than that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they get 7 out of their 8 guys were contributors, okay, to the Giants' Super Bowl victory in 2007. They all stepped up, okay, they all, so it was huge. Aaron Ross, Ross. All right, I'm sorry. Team him up with Corey Webster. We had two really good, solid cornerbacks. Now, Ross was there until 2013 as well. So from 2007 to 2013, we had Ross and Webster. Two very, very good, solid cornerbacks. And I said, Aaron Ross has got himself 2 Super Bowl rings. Steve Smith, okay, he got injured, unfortunately, but he still has the Giants, I believe, the overall record, amount of receptions in a season. I know it was 100. Was it 107? What the heck was it? 107. He has 107 in 2009. I believe that's a Giants record. Then he got injured. It's a shame because he wound up hurting his knee, and he came back, and he was never the same after that. But he was a phenomenal, really good pickup in the second round. Then we had Jay Alford. He had a short career, 2007 to 2010, but he was our long snapper, right? He also came in there, and he got the last sack of the 2007 Super Bowl 42. He got the 5th sack for the Giants, came straight up the middle, sacked Tom Brady, like with about under a minute to go. Tom Brady's on the ground, looks up at the ref, calls timeout. Zach Diassi, long freaking career, 2007 to 2019. Kevin Boss only played like 3 or 4 seasons with the Giants, but he came up huge, like in the playoffs after Jeremy Shockey broke his leg against the Washington Redskins. Boss was the man. Shockey, after that season, went on to play with the Saints. Kevin Boss was our starting tight end. He didn't make it to the 2011 season, but he was a good, solid tight end. Nothing phenomenal, but good and solid. Michael Johnson, okay, he had a nice career with he was 2007 to 2010, but he was a 7th round selection. Okay, our final selection overall was Ahmad Bradshaw. All right. Played from 2007 to 2015, played 103 career games, had almost 5,000 yards rushing, and almost 1,500 yards receiving, right? For a 7th round pick, I mean, absolutely good, solid. Overall, I mean, all of these guys had careers. All of them, let me see, all of them had at least 4 years. All of them had at least a 4-year career. Right, we drafted 8 guys. All of them played at least 4. Had 4 years career. All of them, except for like Adam Coates, but they were all like contributors to the Giants Super Bowl victory in 2007, and a couple of them actually have multiple Super Bowl rings with the New York Giants, and they're all very, very well deserved. Now, as I said, once again, this is very, these are my picks. And certainly, I mean, I said I didn't get this anywhere. I just looked at them all, compared them all, and everything like that. But this is, just the picks I came up with. They're very, very, very subjective. Other people might have other ones, but I know a lot of people have talked, at least in the past anyway, that the 2007 class overall. Now, you got to start looking and say some of these later classes, okay, like the one with Dexter Lawrence and Daniel Jones, you got to start looking at some of those, okay? Now, the one thing is with that is, as time goes by, okay, and the coaching staff goes by, new coaching staffs, they want to bring in their own guys. So a lot of these other guys, like Oshane Ximines, they bring back Darius Slayton. I mean, I'm saying the 2019 draft. We got Daniel Jones and Dexter Lawrence, right? But it doesn't look like they're bringing Ximines back. They're not bringing back Julian Love. Connolly got let go. Judge let him go, right? And we did bring back Slayton. So I mean, that was a nice draft class there. Okay. Because then, of course, you got the 2020 draft with Thomas and McKinney, 2021 with Kadarius Toney. No, yeah. But I mean, this past draft class here, this one here, 2022, if Thibodeau and Neal can really turn things up a notch and really become dominant players, the draft 2022 could really be. I mean, because if we can, Wan'Dale Robinson, if he can stay healthy, he'll have a nice. It looks like he'll have a decent career in the NFL, especially if Dable keeps him around, right? I'm sure they can find stuff to get the ball in his hands and everything. So I think he can be a decent player. If Joshua Zudu can actually stay healthy, stay on the field, okay, looks like there's a good chance he might possibly have a starting position, maybe a guard in his future, okay? But he's got to earn it. He's got to stay healthy and all. Cordell Flop, and then they got Daniel Bellinger, okay, our starting tight end, all right? Dane Belton, who might see a lot more playing time this year, since we didn't want to re-signing Julian Love, right? Then you got Micah McFadden, who gets some reps in there in the inside linebacker position. DJ Davidson, he'll get some time. He'll get some reps, a few reps each game. He's got to stay healthy, But Marcus McKeithen, who could wind up possibly getting, some reps in there. But once again, he's got to come back from his injury. Then we got Darian Beavers, who could quite possibly be, in the inside linebacker mix as well, too. Maybe next to Okarake, right? So if we, have Okarake, we might have Darian Beavers in there. So this class here is the 2022 class, especially because we have the 2 first-round picks. If they can really start turning up a notch, and some of these other guys have decent, lengthy kind of careers, the 2022 class, especially because there's 2 first-round, pick number 5 and pick number 7. You get 2 real good, solid studs. That's going to help this draft class immensely. So have to wait and see. I mean, only time will tell. Got a long way to go here for this 2022 class, but the 2022 NFL class by the New York Giants certainly does have some promise to it. Well, guys, how long has it been? How long have I been shooting my mouth off for here? It's been 41 minutes. Holy cow. So anybody spent any time watching me? Thank you. I do appreciate it. It means the world to me. If anybody spends any time at all watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!